Hello, family. Guys, for that. So in the mirror lid, 7/12, 50 feet on Friday, December 26th, first day of Kwanzaa 2025. 46% on my phone. Going all the way to 7/21. You know, this going out to Featherfist, especially Stacy and her mother, Stacy and Lewinsky. You know, the type of person that usually figures stuff out and things go back to being halfway decent or whatever and stuff, meaning, everybody wins and stuff, With you all and Kwanzaa, I guess you're part of the Kwanzaa people. And, you set yourself and your eyes on me to, come up or whatever the case may be. Because I seen your picture on Facebook where you was looking all gloomy, like, somebody was coming after you and you felt some kind of way or whatever and stuff. And I know you drink because you got a little wine glass on your Facebook advertising. And, I also seen you and your mother and some other lady was at a party. Looked like some kind of social whatever. And, my birthday 5/25 was attached to that. Now I know you behind a lot of stuff and you had to have heard my you know, all the audios, my cassette tapes and stuff, my voice added to the Sound of Music 3 cassette tapes front and back in 1995 because y'all started a little Featherfist in 1996. Okay, now I understand you well connected and you think killing me is the answer so you keep all that money as far as the rap and whatever else. And I know y'all connected to Barack Obama because I saw the picture of him when he was younger and with your mother. You understand what I'm saying? So I've done the research pretty much is what I'm saying. And I just want to know how far you think you're going to get knowing I already won. And it's just a matter of time before, my higher power, chastise you or whatever the case may be. You learned a lot off of me and you sat here in my room when I first got here. And I got here, May 31st of 2017. So about a week or so later, you came knocking on the door. I let you in. And I was, riddled with that cancer they gave me in 2016 when they tried to kill me then. You know what I mean? And, you approached me in a sexual manner. You ain't the only one that done it. I was at Breakthrough Urban Ministry and, the lady in charge of that, the black lady, Sharon, she did the same thing. She told me, she needed a house and she had a son and, for some reason people think I'm supposed to, supply their every need or whatever, and I can't even get a new bed up out of you. You know what I mean? Real talk. Now you sat and came on to me and I rejected you. Shit, not because, I wanted to, but because I was sick. You understand what I'm saying? You didn't care one way or another. That I do know. And when I rejected you and I showed you my social security information, you blurted out the number for everybody to hear. And I was like, hey, what's up? What you doing? And then you try to deny it, when I told you about yourself in front of Steve. Now, I know you and Steve and the white guy, Charles Tipton, supposed to be, doctor or whatever and stuff, psychiatrist, whatever and stuff, knowing he had no credentials when y'all had that little fake ass meeting and stuff, a couple of years ago with him. He was just getting on or back in the game or whatever the case is and stuff. Long story short, he back looking good and acting like, he that person or whatever. When I know he's just another random that y'all got, like in the movie Long Kiss Goodnight. They was just picking bums or whatever to rob people and things of that nature and stuff. Y'all playing a dangerous game is what I'm trying to get you to understand. And I told you before it's over with, your own sons will be, you know, upset with you and stuff for real, because now you putting them in a compromising position. They gonna have to choose between themselves and their mother, and they're not little boys anymore, because God take care of babies and fools. Now you may have needed their help in '96 with them, but they grown men now. You understand what I'm saying? One thing about me, I worked harder than any man in this world for real to get something out the deal, and I got nothing. So this is basically my wrap up portion, and with you all. I don't know what you plan on doing. I know every time I leave out is some kind of confrontation or whatever, some man in my face, and you have gotten people to try to, attack me, to save face or whatever, if that's the case. But I'm here to tell you, I fear nothing. I'm not worried about nothing. And I know, for some reason you just feel like we in competition or whatever. We could have worked together. I've tried talking to you on that level, but for some reason your mind is on a different page or whatever. And anytime you lie to me in my face, lets me know what kind of character you have. And they say if you lie, you cheat, you steal, you kill. So whatever, you Barack Obama and your mama got going on and stuff, because he was in office when I got, the cancer they gave me or whatever and stuff. Had I acted out, they would have put me in restraints and I would have been dead. I never once went in restraints because I wasn't a problem, for real. And they provoked me all kind of ways, just like you all do at Featherfist or whatever. Now, you work with a person named Teresa, and I hate to break her anonymity, but she was a part of AA, and she knows who I am, and she knows that, I'm about my business, because I had a business when I was in AA at the mall and stuff, for real. So she knows, I'm not a weirdo or whatever y'all trying to make me out to be. And she know my life story is true. Now with that said, I'm gonna give you this last scripture, and whatever it say, that's between you and my higher power. I don't know what God you serve. I know the one I serve ain't never let me down, but never leave me nor forsake me. You understand? And even if I die, I'm still gonna be a problem. So while you trying your best to save face, you need to be saving your butt. Real talk, because I'm not a hard person to get along with. But you are evil. For real. You are past me. Real talk. So, I don't know who you think I am or what you take me for, but what you thought of me, I'm no longer that person. Let's put it like that. So this is the Bible scripture, and you better listen to it for real when you read it, or whatever the case may be. Proverbs chapter 12, 13. So after 12, it's got Oprah Winfrey birthday. Proverbs 12 through 9 through 13, verse 2. But it also got 13. But Proverbs chapter 6 for sure is what I'm, trying to get you to understand. Because they said it in Proverbs chapter 6, if I can't trust you with a little bit, what make you think I could trust you with a lot? I didn't care nothing about all that. Money, property, and prestige. I would have settled for the $2 million tax-free, like I said, in 1995. And I know y'all heard me. Real talk. 721. With that said, I'm not into kissing butt, for real, for real. I don't know what kind of obsession you have when it come to me, you and Steve. But whatever that says, this is the 13. I believe in miracles. This is the 13. Real talk. All day. On that scripture. This the 10, my city, Chicago. On my mama. This the 1. You can't beat God. And this the 5. Some things you just have to feel. Step your game up. Peace.